Hey, beautiful. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I am Sarah Taylor. I am a plus size personal trainer, plus size model, and motivational speaker. And my purpose and passion in life is to help women learn to love themselves, body, mind, and soul. I also own a virtual studio, which we are sitting in right now, and we offer group fitness classes online, 100% virtual, as well as on demand. So we have a membership site where you can log in, enjoy classes live and interactive on Zoom, or on demand, or a bit of both, kind of whatever you want kind of thing. But today we're here for an interesting topic. This is something I haven't really talked a lot about. So this is kind of an exclusive. I've just been thinking a lot lately about when it comes to our journeys, when it comes to fitness, self-love, confidence, all of those things. And there's a very big part of my story that I haven't talked about. So again, if you're new to knowing about my story, a little bit about me. I grew up as a big kid, always the big kid. I was almost 2 feet tall when I was born. And my poor mother, I weighed like 9 pounds, 14 ounces. And I would not have known I was any different until I went to school. I was bullied heavily all through school. And it really played a factor in my self-esteem. And seeing myself as beautiful, I thought I was ugly because all I heard all my life was, oh, you have a pretty face. Oh, you'd be pretty if you lost weight. All those kinds of things that most big girls hear. I hated my body, I hated myself, and at 21, I decided I was gonna get skinny because that was gonna make me happy. Newsflash, it doesn't. So I actually embarked on a really unhealthy journey. I did 3 hours of cardio, 6 days a week, and I threw up pretty much after every workout. I didn't eat very well. I ate a lot less than I had been eating, but I didn't eat enough, especially for how much I was working out. And in 6 months, I lost 80 pounds. I got to a size 10. Lowest I had ever been weight-wise was 199. And I thought I was gonna be happy. I thought that was like the secret ingredient, but it wasn't. I still hated who I was. I still hated looking at my body. I still hated how I felt. I didn't feel confident. I didn't feel strong. And shortly after I got to my lowest weight, my parents split. And I grew up as a pastor's kid. So for me, it really shook our world, and there was a lot of things that happened around it. And it was a very, very, very traumatic time. So at the age of 21, I was in school for marketing and full-time in college. And I also had to work 2 full-time jobs to help pay a mortgage at 21. So I worked at Direct Energy full-time and at Rona full-time on the weekends and evenings. And I went. I didn't really do much other than work, which meant that all of that working out that I had done and this quote-unquote lifestyle I created for myself was out the window. Shortly after that, I then met a boy, and it was super abusive right from the start. He was super controlling, didn't want me around my friends and my family. It was a pretty horrible experience. However, I was so desperate just to feel loved. I wanted somebody to love me. I thought there were 2 goals in life. One was being skinny because I was told I was not enough, yet too much because I was a big girl. And I thought having a man was gonna make me happy and complete me as well, because that's what everybody said. You'll be happy when you have a man and you're thin. So the first night I met him, he told me I was beautiful, and he was the first man to tell me I was beautiful. So I was 24, I believe, when we met, maybe 25. And things moved really, really quick. He told me the night he met me that he thought I was the one that he was gonna marry me. And well, I guess it did happen, because we did get married. We were engaged 3 times before we actually got married. Newsflash, those are some big red flags. And I remember on our wedding day, he was late for our photos before our ceremony, and he was about 20 minutes late. And I remember thinking, maybe he won't show up so that I don't have to walk away. Because at this point, I felt like I was too far in. I had to prove everybody wrong. And that was that. Anyways, he did show up. We did get married. It was a very horrible 2 years. I thought I was gonna get better when we got married. He was unfaithful numerous times. He became more abusive, more controlling. It was a really bad situation all in all. As a result, I also gained back all of that weight I lost, so I then felt even worse about myself. And then we got in a car accident. We were driving home from work, we would carpool together, and somebody was pulled over on the side of the road, and they pulled a U-turn right in front of us, and we had nowhere to go but into them. As a result, that kind of left me in pretty intense neck and back pain for several years. And like just debilitating. Like there would be weekends that I would be on pain meds and in bed the entire weekend. I would call in sick to work because I couldn't make it because my pain was so bad. I couldn't walk 20 minutes because my pain was so bad. There were so many issues because of this friggin' car accident. And then I realized I was in too much emotional pain and said, sayonara, peace out. I can't do this anymore because you're not changing. So you can try and change or we're done. And so he left. And so that is what started my actual journey to self-love, which is what I talk about all of the time. But when I started, so after my separation, I was probably silent for 3 months because I was just trying to sort my feelings out. And then I started working on myself. So affirmations, journaling, I read a lot of books on basically rebuilding myself and trying to look on the inside, trying to find what that thing was that was gonna make me happy. Again, newsflash, it's not just one thing. And it really was shifting my whole life thoughts basically, where I was rooted out of self-hatred in everything I did. Everything I did was because I hated myself. And everything shifted to everything being rooted in loving myself. So I saw my value, I saw my worth, I started to see my beauty. I realized that I was strong and that I was courageous and I was capable of so much. And so then I wanted to start pursuing my body feeling better. So I started eating healthy, and by healthy I meant that I started removing foods that caused inflammation in my body. So I had followed the Whole30 plan, and I did that without the focus on weight loss at all. It all really started from I wanted to feel better. I was feeling better emotionally and I wanted to feel better physically. So I removed foods that caused inflammation, and within the first month, I had 4 days in that month with no pain. I was like, woo-hoo, we're on to something. So I continued with that, but around that same time, I had also started the process of looking into gastric bypass. And in Canada, it is something that is covered by our healthcare. In the US, I believe it's a very expensive surgery, but I started to explore that process. So I met with my doctor, went through a bunch of tests, found out I qualified, and it was basically a 1.5 year process for the surgery. So the surgery for me was never about weight necessarily like being thin. It was because I was like, I'm in so much pain from my neck and back. If I lose some of the weight, maybe I won't be in as much pain. So that was always my motive when I was going down that whole process for gastric bypass. So I met with therapists, I met with nutritionists, doctors, numerous tests, multiple appointments. There is so much that goes into it because something like gastric bypass isn't like a quick fix. You have to fix all of it that's in here. Everything is a mind game. Everything is about learning how to be the driver in your own body and your own life. So anything you want in life, that is where it starts. That and your heart. So I went through the whole process, and then I got my surgery date. So I was scheduled for December 8th, 2014. So that was my surgery date. My surgery date was booked like 8 months down the road because that's how far away they had to schedule them. So I go on living my life, doing my thing. I'm working out, I'm strengthening my body, trying to fix my pain issues, fueling my body really well, improving my relationship with food so that I wasn't emotionally eating like I was before. And again, because I had rooted things in learning to love myself, there was a massive, massive, massive shift in how I felt and how I carried myself. And then this thing happened. I got an email asking me, are you the next Miss Plus Canada? And I was like, do we do this? And so then I had 112 Instagram followers and I posted on it, should I do this? And everybody was like, yes, you need to do this. Because at this point I had started talking about what I had just come through and my healing journey. And I actually had a blog called Damn, She's Got Curves. And if you find it, it's probably still up there, I'm sure. But a lot of it was documenting weight loss, but also documenting a lot of my story. And the things that I had been through and overcome and that kind of thing. And so I ended up entering the pageant. I tried to quit it when they told me I needed a talent, and I didn't really want to sing on stage. I couldn't design websites on stage. So the only thing I really had was my story. So I did a spoken word about my story, that journey to self-love. And so I had 2.5 minutes to share it. And I remember in rehearsal, it was the first time that I had shared it out loud in front of anybody other than in my bedroom. And all of the girls that were in the pageant just surrounded me when I was done, because I just like collapsed in tears, because it was almost like a physical release of everything that had been going on the inside. And it was in that moment that I realized that I was destined to be a voice for women who maybe haven't figured out how to use their voice yet. So it's a pretty momentous day. And again, at this point, I had no plan on winning this pageant. I just was doing it and we were gonna see what happened. Anyways, that night I was crowned People's Choice, Talent, and Miss Plus Canada 2014. The next day I decided I was going to like run with this and start documenting my journey even more and start talking about the things that I had started to talk about as part of this process. But then the thought came, I'm scheduled for gastric bypass. How am I Miss Plus Canada and I'm talking about embracing your body when I'm scheduled for weight loss surgery? Talk about mind blowing. So that was in July of 2014. And at this point I'm still like thinking like, what am I gonna do? And I'm now working on becoming a plus size model. And at that point I had already had a few gigs and I was starting to do a few more. And I remember going to Jamaica with a friend, and while I was away, one of my mentors, she was like a second mom, she had had gastric bypass, and she was a little bit of the influence as to why I started to explore it. She ended up having 2 twisted bowels, and they had to remove them and fix them, untwist them, and I believe they had to snip part of it, and she had 25 staples up her stomach. Since then, that's 2014, she has had blood transfusions and iron therapy on a very regular basis. Her daughter had also had the surgery and had her gallbladder removed and gallbladder attacks. So at this point, these things are happening and they're kind of life-threatening. And I was like, okay, the combination of I'm now helping women learn to love themselves, body, mind, and soul. I talk about my journey. And these 2 people who I know and are very close to me have had massive complications. Do I really want to go down this route? And so I remember in October calling up my surgeon and saying, hey, can I cancel my surgery? Sure, do you want to reschedule it? Nope, I want to cancel it for good. You're sure? You really want to cancel it? You've been going through this process for 1.5 years. Yep, I want to cancel it. So that was my decision to not have that. And I continued on the journey of rehab. So for me, it meant I was working with a trainer. And when I first started working out, I'm going to show you what I could lift. This was it. A broomstick or a PVC pipe. I couldn't do anything because my muscles were so damaged from the accidents I had been in. So I had to learn on just like activating those muscles and working with a trainer to like rehab for a couple years, which then developed into more. And now I can deadlift with a bar and I can do weights overhead, something I couldn't even imagine doing before. All of that to say, your girl right here has done it all. I have done Jenny Craig, I have done Weight Watchers, my doctor wanted me to go to fat camp as a kid. Cabbage soup diet, I tried it all. I thought happiness was in the bottom of that cabbage soup pot, and it wasn't. And so when I did it the wrong way of I'm just basically gonna like torture my body, I still wasn't any happier. Didn't matter what I looked like because I still wasn't happy with me. And when I switched my focus out of doing everything out of a place of self-love, that is when my entire life changed. So back then, let's look at what life looked like. So life was, I was in an abusive marriage. I wasn't allowed to see my friends or my family because he was controlling. I was stuck at home all the time. I was in a job that was like super high stress, living paycheck to paycheck. I hated my body, I hated myself, and my friendships were suffering. Switch the role to a place of being rooted in self-love. I ended up having an amazing career in the nonprofit space, doing very well, and because of all the other stuff that I was doing on the side, the modeling, the speaking, and all of that, I decided to make it my full-time thing. That's why I own a gym. It's why I help women build their confidence and strength, because I know the difference of when you are constantly pursuing a look because you think it's gonna make you happy, instead of starting on the inside and changing how you see yourself completely, because out of that, your entire life can change, and I am proof of that. I now am in a happy relationship with a man I love. I am treated well. I am treated like an equal. I have a business of my own in my own home. And I absolutely love what I do, but none of that would have happened if I didn't first take the step of saying, I deserve more. I deserve to have the life that I want, and I deserve to be happy, and it doesn't start with how I look. So if you wonder why I don't talk a lot about weight loss, doesn't mean that I haven't experienced weight loss. When I won Miss Plus Canada, I was a size 22 and I was 317 pounds. Now I am about a size 16, and I have been for the last 5 years, and I'm about like 265-ish. But for me, the number doesn't really matter because my worth is not wrapped up in it. And when you can shift your focus from, I need to lose weight, I need to look like this, I need to blah, 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 to a place of, I am strong, I am bold, I am confident, I can do all the things that I want to do, I am capable, I am enough. All of those things, that is where you see change. So if weight loss is one of your goals, it's not a bad thing, but you kind of need to check why it's your goal. Do you want to lose weight to look a certain way to fit into what society thinks is beautiful? What is your reason? Because I'm telling you right now, it's not the magic pill that will make you happy. So I hope that this is food for thought. Again, this isn't a topic that I usually dive into. I just have been like thinking a lot about it lately, and the difference of having a journey rooted in self-hatred versus self-love, and the different things that ensue because of it, and how life can be that much greater when you truly learn to love who you are and can see how amazing you are. So I hope that this leaves you feeling inspired and maybe make some changes in your life. Also, the other thing is, when it comes to changes like this, you gotta start small. Balls to the wall, not a good method. Burnout is real. You need to create new patterns and new habits to form a new lifestyle, because that is what it's all about, is creating the life that you desire. And it starts with small little changes over time. And over time, those changes add up to some very big significance and can really overhaul your life. Yeah, I'm proof. So anyways, I will leave you with that. I hope you enjoyed this video and this very candid conversation that's very impromptu and is not going to be very much edited. But that's me. I like to show up authentic so you can see what a real person looks like, what they've been through, and hopefully be inspired for your own journey. I hope you have an amazing day, and we'll see you soon.